Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy Clement, a health and wellness consultant, and I'm very passionate about healthy living. In this channel, I do cook healthier dishes. Today I'm going to cook a healthier bread. I also talk about health issues. I also share my journey of healing from fibroids. So the whole idea of my channel is to promote healthier living. As I have said in today's video, I'm going to cook a healthier bread. And I call it a healthier bread because considering or comparing to the breads we normally have, this is a healthier version. In today's today's bread will not have any gluten, so it will be gluten free. We are not going to add any wheat. Some of the ingredients that will be in my bread today is dates. So I'm gonna add dates in my bread. Just a little bit about dates. Dates are amazing for the digestive system. They get rid of pathogens like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. They also remove heavy metals and other toxins from the body. They are rich in minerals such as potassium and also have anti-cancerous properties. The next thing that we are going to have in my bread today is we're going to have apples. Apples are ultimate colon cleansers. That also they also remove pathogens as well as putrefied proteins in the intestinal tract. So most people know that apples have an amazing benefit on the digestive system. I've met people who say they struggle with constipation, but apple makes all the difference. The other thing about apples is that they have anti-obesity properties due to compounds that increase digestive strength. So that is about the apples. The other thing we are going to add, and I'm looking at the healthier ingredients that we are going to be adding into our bread today. The other one is walnuts. So we're going to be having walnuts. I'm going to be adding walnuts. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory properties. They are also known to prevent stroke, diabetes, heart diseases, colon, prostate, and breast cancer. They are also high in B vitamins and minerals such as iron, zinc, calcium, and selenium. Walnuts are particularly beneficial for cognitive health and are regarded as excellent brain food. I remember when my children were young to encourage them to eat walnuts. I would say that they have the shape of the brain, and that means they are gonna really make them very smart. So they are excellent brain food. They calm the nervous system and increase sense of well-being. They are also known to bring down the appetite as well, and that aids in the long-term weight loss. So the bread we are going to bake this at this moment. It's a healthier bread. It's going to cut down your as I have said, with things like walnuts, the appetite and the urge to overeat is not going to be there, especially, and this is because of the ingredients. So to bake my bread today, I'm going to be using Thermomix. So with me here I have Thermomix, and if you're listening for the first time, Thermomix is an amazing appliance, the latest technology in the kitchen. And Thermomix cooks almost everything. It does almost everything in the kitchen. So this morning I've used Thermomix to make my juice. I use Thermomix to make my smoothies. I use Thermomix to cook my curries. And it does a lot of things. And if you want to learn more about Thermomix, you can look at my previous videos, because I've done more videos using Thermomix. So with Thermomix comes with a platform here called Cookie Dough, and that has 70,000 recipes. So if you go to Cookie Dough and type gluten free, it gives you a wide list of different foods that you can cook that are gluten free. And today's bread is one of the recipes that are gluten free. So more and more people are getting to know that gluten is not great for our health. A lot of people are starting to react to gluten. I started cutting out bread and chapati from my diet sometimes back, and now if I eat gluten, it upset my stomach. So so it's good to have something that is gluten free that we can still enjoy. So more and more people are getting to look at gluten-free recipes. So if I go straight to my Thermomix, it has the recipe already here. Gluten-free date, apple, and walnut tea bread. And the first step, it says preheat oven to number 180. So I go straight into my oven. And I set my oven to 180 degrees, and this is gas number 4, and my oven goes in number, so I go to gas number 4. Next step, it says grease a large loaf tin with oil and set aside. So I have my loaf tin here, and it's asking me to grease it with oil. So I'm going to grease it with oil. I'm going to put a bit of oil, a bit of olive oil here. So I'm greasing my tin. If I click next, it's asking me to add 240 grams of brown rice, just to make sure my so Thermomix has a blade inside there, and that blade does the chopping, the cutting. You're frying your food. It does the cutting of the onions. It blends when I'm making my smoothie. It does all the blending, the celery. It does literally. It can crush ice. It's going to grind rice, as you're gonna see. So it's asking me to put 240 grams of brown rice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 240 grams of brown rice. So I've got 240 grams there. And just in case you're wondering which rice I'm using, that is the rice I'm using. So I'm using basmati whole grain. Next is asking me to cover the Thermomix. Next, now it's going to grind this it's going to grind the rice into rice flour, and that is gonna take 2 minutes. 20 more seconds to go. The music is there. The music means that the grinding of the flour is finished. So we're gonna have a look and see what we have inside. So as you saw, we put brown rice. So here I've got brown rice flour. This is what we are going to be using to make our bread today. So more and more people are getting to know the benefits of keeping away from gluten. But we all want to enjoy a bread now and again. We all want to enjoy a cake now and again. I also have a recipe for cake, for gluten-free cake, which I'll be making very soon. So it's asking me, Thermomix has asked me to put away my flour in a bowl. If I click next, it's asking me to add 80 grams of pitted dates. So it's asked me to put 80 grams of pitted dates. So I'm gonna add 80 grams. So Thermomix has scale that weighs from 1 gram to 6 kilograms. If I click next, it's asking me to put 140 grams of apples. So I've got my apples here, and it's asking me to put them in quarters. So I'm just gonna cut them into quarters. So I'm going to put 140 grams of apples. So that's 113 grams. I only need a little bit more. There we are. Next is asking me to put the cover, and now it's going to chop this, and that will take 5 seconds. The music is here. Next, I'm just going to show you what we have in terms of chopped dates. And so as you can see, we have chopped dates and apples. So if I click next, is asking me to add 60 grams of olive oil. So we're putting 60 grams of olive oil. And you don't have to follow the recipe. You can alter the recipe to suit your needs, in terms of you want it a bit more healthier. You can cut out the oil, or you can make oil half of what they have asked. So I'm just showing you the standard that is in the Thermomix. But you can always alter. Instead of walnuts, you can choose to add bananas. So you can always modify your recipes. And also, I've put 60 grams. I've actually put 55 grams. Most people who are familiar or who do a lot of baking, you do realize we put a lot of butter in our cakes. This is the amount that goes to a lot of standard cakes. So here you're putting, you're only putting 60 grams of olive oil, and I've actually cut down that 55. Next is it's asking me to add the reserved ground rice. So I put the ground rice here. Next is asking me to put 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm gonna put 1.5 of this. 1.5 of baking powder. If I click next, is asking me to put 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. So I put 1 of that. Next is asking me to put half of xanthan gum. And this is what you add when you're cooking gluten-free recipes. You need xanthan gum. So you put half of that. Next is asking for half a teaspoonful of sugar, of sea salt. So I need half of this. And next, it's asking for 60 grams of sugar. And as I have said, you can always modify your recipe to suit your liking. So sometimes I actually use coconut sugar instead of sugar here. So I've got brown sugar here. I just need to grab a spoon. So it's asking for 60 grams of sugar, and I'm gonna put 60 grams. And once again, for most people who are familiar with baking, you will realize that we do add a lot of sugar in hundreds, probably 100 or 200 grams. So 60 grams is still reasonable, still healthier, compared to the amount of sugars we find in baking. Next is asking for 80 grams of walnuts chopped. So I'll put 80 grams. I'll crush them a little bit as I put. So we need 80 grams of this. And that's it. We've got 81 there. Next is asking for three large eggs. So I'm just going to crush my eggs in here. I'm not very confident to crush in the mixture because I always get pieces of the shell, so I need to get this out. There are people who are very good, they'll crush into the mixture and they don't get any of the shell. So we need 3 of these. So I'm putting three large eggs. Next is asking for 100 grams of water, and we have a measuring cup at the bottom here. This is actually a measuring cup that you can use to measure. So I'm going to get some water, which I need just 100 grams. So I'm just gonna carefully put. Yes, we got 100 grams, and I put my measuring cup back. Next, I'm going to put the lid, and now it's going to do the mixing. It's going to mix the mixture, and that will take 20 seconds. The music is here, the mixing is done, and I'm going to show you my mixture as I put it in my tin. So I'm gonna, the best way for you to see it is as I pour it out. So you see my mixture is ready to go into the oven. So this is almost, it's like my cake is done. Whenever I get to this point, I just see this mixture as a ready cake, because the hard part of the mixing is done. You know, so here you have brown rice, you have cake, you have apples, you have dates and walnuts into what I would call a very healthy bread. But to be honest, a lot of time when I bake this bread, I say the gluten-free cake. I just got used to calling it a cake, but it's actually a tea bread. It's quite filling. You eat a small portion of this bread, and you don't want anything else. Yeah. So I'm going to put this now into my oven, and if I click on the next button, it's asking me to bake this at 180 grams at 180 degrees centigrade. So that Thermomix gives you step-by-step guide on exactly how to do the cooking, and that will be 50 minutes. So I need to time myself for 50 minutes. So it's now, yes, so this will be ready at 40 past. Yeah, 40 past, my cake will be ready. So I'm just going to put straight. My cake is now in the oven, and that will take 50 minutes. In the next 3 minutes, our tea bread will be ready. Another 1 minute, and the tea bread will be ready. So our gluten-free tea bread is ready, and I'm just going to cut some slices so that you can see the inside. So I just want to show you the inside of the tea bread. That is our tea bread, all ready for a cup of tea. So we can now, as you can see, it is possible to enjoy tea bread without necessarily consuming gluten. So we can still enjoy some bread which is gluten-free. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching my video, for visiting my channel. Do leave me a comment, share the video if you like it. If you find any value in it, share it with your friends, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and Subscribe to the channel so that you get to know when I have put a new and I've uploaded a new video. Otherwise, thank you and God bless you. Bye bye for now.